Public Relations of the Australian Army presents War Correspondent. Your name is Mike McCann. You're a war correspondent. For the people of this atomic time who know that peace belongs only to the prepared, you tell these stories of the Australian Army on active service. Your name is Mike McCann, war correspondent.
I'm Mike McCann. Jungle warfare was probably more a matter for the skill and courage, resourcefulness and determination of the individual soldier than any other type of warfare. In the jungle, a soldier was always so much closer to the enemy and yet so far away from his own base. But in November 1943, an Australian fighter new to the jungle arrived for the first time in New Guinea and there struck terror into the Japanese and devastated his fortifications and communications. The newcomer was the Australian Matilda tank, and it first entered the fighting in New Guinea at the opening of the battle for Saddleburg, a small New Guinea village on a 3,300-foot plateau 9 miles from the Song River. After losing Finschhafen, the Japanese had retreated inland, numbering close on 13,000 fanatical troops. And at Saddleburg, the enemy reformed his ranks. On October the 16th, he began a counterattack by air, sea and land to recapture Finschhafen. And after losing 1,000 dead, the Japanese retreated back toward Saddleburg, and the 9th Division, which had thrown back the counterattack, prepared to keep rolling the enemy back. But the story of the attack on Saddleburg began long before that 6th day of November 1943, when 9th Division units placed themselves astride the road leading to Saddleburg. It began at the end of an assembly line somewhere in Australia.
Forward another foot. Easy now. That'll do it. That's the 9th. The 9th Matilda tank. Have you chalked it okay for dispatch?
Just doing it now. Here, I'll write a bit of a message on it. What'll I say?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on. My young brother's in the 9th Divvy. Young Ted was there at LMA. Not too sure where he is now, except he's somewhere in New Guinea. I was telling him about the Matildas when he came home from the Middle East. You reckon them they wouldn't do much good in the jungle?
Oh, the Yanks have been using them?
That's right, but they haven't been in the kind of country our fellows are getting into, the Dakota Trail kind of stuff.
Your brother wasn't in that.
Too true he wasn't. His battalion is the 2nd 48. It was fighting in the desert at Tel Eliza, Alamein, places like that. He was chasing the Germans and the Italians across the desert with a bayonet. Here, I'll tell you what to write on it. I'm the 9th Matilda on the delivery line. Will someone please make sure I go to the 9th Division? And put a big question mark.
Sounds kind of silly. Oh, well, he'll chalk her on.
Yeah, they're Matildas. My brother works at the place they assemble them at. I used to say to him they'd never be any good in the jungle, but I'll tell you something. I'm mighty glad to see him coming up that track right now. How many gone past so far?
7 or 8. There's more coming.
And they can keep 'em coming for mine. This Saddleburg dude's not going to be an easy cop. But I haven't stuck an easy one yet. The old 2nd 48 seems to draw the dirty ones, like we did in the Middle East.
These tanks should make her a bit easier. They'll give the nip the shock of his life.
Maybe.
They're going to be shoved in as a surprise when we start moving in on Saddleburg, aren't they?
Oh, that's the way the brass plans. But it doesn't always happen that way. Now, in the Middle East...
Oh, but that's why our blokes are sneaking them up this road, so they'll surprise the Japs when we start moving. That's why the artillery is turning on such a hell of a lot of noise, so the nips won't hear the tanks moving. That's the way it is, isn't it?
That's the way the brass wants it to happen. But you got to remember that the Japanese have got observation points overlooking this track towards Saddleburg.
I'm remembering that. But the officers told us that the tanks would be moved at night across those sections of the tracks, so the nips wouldn't wake up to what was going on.
Yeah, doesn't always work out the way they reckon it will. I remember back in the desert, just before El Alamo.
Well, I reckon these tanks will give the nip butterflies. And when he sees them coming at him through the kunai. I'm glad I won't be on the receiving end of them anyway.
Tanks? You haven't even seen tanks yet. You should have seen them at Alamein. They were sprinkled across the desert like hundreds and thousands. Big
Here we go again. The old desert warrior. Well, what about changing the record?
No need to change any record, mate. You blokes who come into the battalion after we come back from the Middle East haven't seen a real blue yet.
Oh, this other stuff hasn't been for keeps. The Japs have been firing blanks at us all the time.
No, don't get your tonsils in a knot. I'm just saying you haven't seen the real McCoy yet. A big show like Alamein. Hey, look, see that jacket down there? Walking across the track between those tanks now?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Sure I know him. Diver Derrick.
Sergeant Thomas Curry Derrick of Adelaide, B Company, 48th Australian Infantry Battalion, DCM. So he is. Here, come across here to this clear patch. Got a match? You may as well give us a roll, too. Yeah, thanks. Now, this is the Med Coast, the Mediterranean. Get me?
Yeah, give us back my makings. I may as well have one, too. I tell you, Ted, you'll end up as patron of the MEMUS.
Yeah?
Yeah, MEMUS. Stands for Middle East Mutual Admiration Society.
Yeah, I'll be a member. No time to talk about what Diver Derrick did that day at Tel El Isa.
Oh, all right.
Now, this line here's the railway line, see? It runs from here. That's El Alamein Station, and here, this is Tel El Isa Station. It's July 1942. It's stony country and dusty. You never seen anything like the dust there. And away across there's all desert, sand dunes, you know? Well, over there's the Med. Well, the Germans push against us. They get on this high ground, and she's a tussle between them and us for this highest point, which is here, see, at Tel El Isa. Yeah. The side that's got that can observe over Alamein and has a show of taking the coast road. Well, first the Stukas come in, and wham, wham, wham. They plaster us, and well, then the German tanks come in, and she's on for 4 hours. There's guns going off all the time, and it's like sheet lightning across the sky. And on top of us, them there eye-to-eye meshes, and there's Stukas and Messerschmitts and Hurricanes, and those tanks are coming at us.
Wait till I put me tin hat on, mate. A bloke could get hurt with all this stuff flying around.
Now, look, I'm telling you, she's a real blue. And the Germans push us back for a while, and then we go in. And that's where Sergeant Derrick gets his DCM. It's an all-in stash, guns, planes, tanks, mortars, everything. And a mob of Jerrys come up through the dust and plonk down the machine guns and open up. Well, she looks crook for us. Looks like the Germans are going to consolidate, then push us back. Ah, but what happens?
I've heard half a dozen other versions. May as well hear yours, too.
Derrick gets up, and he's got hand grenades with him like a bag full of apples. And he starts to bowl them at those German machine guns, and woof, 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 up they go. 3 of them he silences, knocks them right out. 3 of them, mind you, blazing away at him at the same time. Then he waves our boys up, and in they go. Right into the Germans, and we push them back and take about 100 prisoners at the same time. Sergeant Derrick's plunging straight into them, and they're throwing up their hands like they're pleased to see him. She was a real blue. No holds barred. And I tell you, Diver Derrick earned his DCM.
I've never doubted that, Ted. You've only got to look at him to see he's a hard doer.
Yeah, I'll say, tough as they come.
And, well, why do they call him Diver?
Huh? Yeah, you got me there, Mick. I reckon Darky would be more like it. But you can never tell how blokes get their nicknames, can you? I remember a bloke in the desert got the nickname of Camp. We was on leave on Alex at the time.
Save it, Ted. Looks like we're wanted down along the track. The platoon's forming up. There were 9 tanks, Ted, all told.
That's a squadron. We used to count squadrons by the hundreds in the desert.
Well, for mine, I'd sooner be fighting in the Middle East than here.
I don't think it was any cop, Mick. I'll drum you about that.
I don't think it was any cop. I was just thinking that when you captured something in the Middle East, you had something to show for it. You know, buildings and roads and that kind of thing. Not like here.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I do. So we take this village called Saddleburg. Would you do a bit of shopping there, spend your leave there? You know what it'll be, don't you? By the time we get there, a few tin huts blasted to pieces, bung huts burnt, the whole area smashed flat. Popsies with bales on, or Jippo beer. Only... Ah, come on. Let's get on with it. There it is, Ted. Steeple Tree Hill. At least we've got within sight of it.
It's this bamboo. Never had it in the desert. Where are you? Huh? Oh, yeah. Hey, where's that hill? Oh, yeah, I see it. That's the first stage towards Saddleburg.
When we take it. We've been 4 days getting this far, and there she is. Standing up there nearly 3,000 feet high.
A fella will end up walking at a slant. Yeah, these hills get me down. Well, what are we waiting for now?
The 2nd 23rd is coming up on the other side of the hill. I suppose we've got to synchronize our attack and... Listen.
Yeah?
The Matildas are on their way up. Now we'll see whether the Nip wants to stay pat in his foxhole and fight it out. Oh, this'll be a real Christmas present for the sons of heaven. We're moving, Ted. This is the push.
Yeah, it's like old times they're going in behind the tanks. They're a nice job, these Matildas, Mick. Did I tell you my brother's working on it?
Yeah. Cut that, Claude! These tanks are shifting them, flushing them out like plovers. Up on your right, Ted! Sniper! Oh, nice burst.
Ah, it's play compared with the last 4 days. The Matildas have found the Japs right off balance. Hey, look at that foxhole. The tank just blew all the logs off it. I'll give it a burst for good measure.
Oh, there goes another. I'll speed him up. Oh, that's the end of them here, Ted. This is Steeple Tree Hill. Next stop, Saddleburg. Hey, look, mate. There's the 2nd 23rd Battalion coming over the top.
Yeah, but I see what you were saying the other day about not capturing anything when you take a place. In the desert, there would have been a mosque or something at least.
That's what I meant. And I tell you what, I know what you were talking about when you said how good it was to go into action with tanks. It's almost candy from kids.
The Japanese, in their prepared positions along the track to Saddleburg, were taken by surprise when these first Matilda tanks to go into operation in New Guinea smashed through their lines. In the wake of those powerful tanks went the Australian infantry, mopping up blasted foxholes, dealing with snipers and suicide attacks. But tanks weren't the final answer to the fighting problems in New Guinea. When the situation reached a crucial stage, there occurred a misfortune that meant the tanks could go no further. And it was then that the courage and skill, resourcefulness and determination of the Australian fighting men came to the fore again. Faced by the tanks, artillery and bayonets of the Australians closing in on the small village of Saddleburg, the Japanese had closed their ranks, fighting even more desperately, and they dug deeper into strong points to defy the Australians and deny them this important ridge feature. But in the ranks of the advancing Australian infantry was one of the bravest soldiers ever to take the field. Leading his platoon was Sergeant T.C. Derrick, nicknamed Diver by his friends. It could truly be said of him that he knew no fear, and in addition, he was a skilled, experienced fighter who fought with his brains as well as his rifle and bayonet. But as the 2nd 48th Australian Infantry Battalion continued to advance on Saddleburg, there was no suggestion that Sergeant Derrick would be required to do the job the Matilda tanks were now doing so successfully.
How long have we been going now, Ted?
We started on the 17th. What's today? November 22nd. 5 days, Mick. Slow going, isn't it? We cleaned up that show at Tel Eliza in 5 days.
Oh, we're not doing so bad. At least we're on the start of the Saddleberg Hill. I'd say we've got only about another half-mile to go.
And what a half-mile. Bamboo and scrub, Jap foxholes and fortified strong points.
But the tanks are here. No bother about foxholes. All we're doing is mop up and move up. You notice it seems quieter around here. Less Japs.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Probably knocking off 1 or 2 here and there. Well, now you come to mention it, it is quieter. I'll tell you just what that means.
Well, blind Freddy could tell you that. The Japs have withdrawn.
Brilliant. And what have they withdrawn for? I'll tell you. To consolidate in strength. Any time now we can expect them to pour into us.
And what happens to the tanks?
I don't know. But they'll have something up their sleeve. The Germans used to put down a minefield and have their guns ranged onto it so that when the leading tanks went up and the others stopped, the field guns would belt hell out of the other tanks as they turned to get out.
I can't see the Japs mining this whole hill. They'd need more mines than Japan could make. And how could they?
That's all right about that. As this hill gets deeper, these tanks will find the grass and bamboo too slippery, and they'll have to stick to the road. See, they're sticking to the road already. Tanks can't do everything, you know.
Maybe not. But they've done all right up to date.
Oh, I'm not arguing about that. All I'm saying is the Nip will have some trick to handle these tanks. They've had time to think about it now. Early in the piece, the tank surprised him. Hello, something's up. Our tank's slowing. There. See?
I see, all right. Landslide right across the road.
Might be a landslide. But I'd say it's been helped by some nip jelly.
Will they be able to pass that?
Don't like the look of it myself. Loose stuff like that used to stop them in the desert. They're having a go anyway.
No, they can't get past that, Ted.
Ah, that's a complete block off. And this hill's too steep for any detour. Well, looks like we're on our own from here on.
And that's why the Japs pulled back.
You can bet on that. They'll be sitting up there in that bamboo rubbish, grinning to themselves, waiting till we get up past that landslide without our tanks. Then they'll start to mix it with us. I'm not looking forward to this much, Mick.
Well, me either. Oh, we're moving again. Come on.
You know,
A fella feels naked without those tanks. Sort of like in Martin Place without your pen. Look out! Oh, I thought that grenade was coming straight at us.
short for Mick. Fella got a bit anxious. Put his position away. They're going to be hard to shift.
Oh, I missed those tanks. Only about another 600 yards to go. Straight up this hill and we'd have that Saddleberg joint.
600 yards, eh? That's quite a distance when you got to fight for every yard of it. You light a smoke, mate. Looks to me like we'll be waiting for night before we push on against this lot. The softening up's over. Now, when we go with the rifle, and you'll see the Japs come popping up out of the ground as though all that shelling had only been a spring shower.
Oh, break it down, Ted. Those guns and mortars have been belting into them since dusk. That's 4 hours. It must have done some good.
All in the desert.
All right, mate. I know what they did at Alamein. I know how many guns and all that, but this is different.
All right, we'll soon see how different it is. Go on, we're moving up.
Ah, I see him coming out.
Yeah. Give it to him before that flare dies. This is the time to use the bayonet.
Another 400 yards to go, Ted. And it's taken us 2 days to do the last stretch. At this stage, it'll take us another week to get up to the top of the hill.
If we're lucky. You've seen the strong points we've forced so far. They're deep and well camouflaged, and they're protected from all sides. You won't shift them with shelling. You've got to get them out personally. On this Kenai grass, you could hide a battalion in that and not get a sight of a man. No, she's not like the desert.
She'll be like the desert once our blokes are done with their shelling and mortaring, and by the time we're finished crawling on our knees and bellies onto these foxholes. stretch, Ted.
Yeah, I've seen some nags drop dead on the home stretch. Saddleburg is just over that ridge, but first we gotta take that ridge.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Been plucking at us since dawn. We're not a yard closer. Did you see when the blokes from the 11th platoon had to go last time? There were at least 10 strong points firing on them.
Yeah, I saw that. They've certainly got the whole approach well covered. Ah, well, old soldier, how are we going to get past that little lot?
Just cast your eyes across to 11th platoon position. See who's heading the patrol out now?
Yeah, Sergeant Derrick.
Now, that's how we'll do it, mate. You watch this. Out they go.
And the nips are right onto them. They're pinned down.
Oh, no. Now they're making ground. Now they're up and going.
Oh, not far, though. Oh, they're down again. That crosswire is too much. They can't get through it, Ted. See? They're coming back.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Hey, get onto that. I'll bet next month's pay that Derrick wants to go up again. Look at him, pointing that way, and the officer's shaking his head. But Derrick's still pointing. Yeah, he's getting his way. The officer's nodding his head now, but not too enthusiastic about it. Watch this now, mate. This'll be something.
Might even be better than tell Eliza.
Yeah, there he goes, leading his patrol. Gee, those Jap strong points are pouring it into him. The platoon's down. They're pinned again.
They're lucky to be alive out there.
And what's the Sarge doing? He's worming forward, squirming up that slope.
It's a 45-degree slope there.
I don't know about that, but I'd say it's perpendicular. And those nips are right above it. He's mad. What's he doing?
He's up on his feet and going forward.
And he's bowling those grenades again. But he can't do it here.
He's made a start. He threw one right into that Jap bunker, and she's lost interest in the action.
And he's into the next one. Wham! Up she goes. What did I tell you about this bloke, Mick? What did I tell you? And another. That's about 3 of them he's rubbed out. Now he's slipping back.
Yeah. But only for more grenades. He's up and into them again, Ted. He's uncanny. 2 more bunkers gone, and the others are onto him.
Yeah, but his platoon is keeping the Japs occupied. He's coming back again. Another load of grenades. Give it away, Sarge. You're stretching your lap. Up he goes again. He's still on his feet. Like it can't last. That's 8 of them he's shut up now, Mick. 8 of them.
8 down and 2 to go. But he's out of grenades again. Oh, back he comes.
Oh, no. No, he shouldn't do it again.
Nobody's going to stop him, Ted. There he goes again. Bowling him in. Oh, no wonder we beat the Germans and high ties in the Middle East. You had this bloke on your side.
10 of them he's done over, Mick. On his lonesome, mate. 10 of them.
Yeah. And this is where we start moving along a home stretch. Come on. An hour ago, I wouldn't have said we'd be within 150 yards from Saddleburg.
On his lonesome. 10 nip strong points he personally deals with hand grenades. If there's not a VC in that, I'll go he.
Tomorrow, Saddleburg will be ours. Although for mine, you can keep it. Look at it up there. A heap of galvanized iron, too chopped about to do for a fowl coop. I can see only one bit of a hut left standing. Well, I'm going to get some sleep. Saddleburg can keep till tomorrow.
If it had been some of those Jippo joints, you wouldn't have said that.
Saddleburg. Oh, what a mess.
Hey, look.
What?
Sergeant Derrick. He's just hoisted the Australian flag on that bit of tree sticking up over there. So he should too. He took the place single-handed.
By his action, Sergeant Derrick had opened the way for the capture of this important point, and the enemy was pushed, stumbling from exhaustion and disease, away from the ridges and along the coast to dwindle into a retreat of ineffectual stragglers. Behind him, the Japanese left close on 8,000 dead. The Australians, in the actions that destroyed those Japanese, lost 280. For his part, Sergeant Derrick was decorated with the Victoria Cross and later promoted to lieutenant. Lieutenant Derrick, VC, DCM, was a man of great heroism. He died a hero on Borneo just before the war ended. He died rallying his men against Japanese holding a strong position in great strength. He fell facing the enemy.
War Correspondent, recorded by Robert Peach Productions, is presented for your entertainment by the Australian Army's Directorate of Public Relations.